Hey everybody, what you see here is a Casablanca Zephyr from the year 1980. I got this fan from fellow fan collector Alan Pavon. I think he's like the fan guy 85 or something to that effect on YouTube. He shipped me this fan the other day. So this fan came from the Fort Worth area in Texas. And it is now up in central Ohio. So this fan has had quite the journey. So it started life in Pasadena, California, then went to Texas and was there for 40 years, and then now it's here in Ohio. This fan is an antique brass. I'm not too sure of the finish of the blades. I don't know the name of them, but they're very nice looking. This design is overall a very classic design. This type of fan was commonly seen in, from houses to bars to restaurants and anything in between. This model of fan, the Zephyr, was very popular in the late 1970s into like the mid 1980s. So I'm very happy to have this fan. It's an antique brass, as I previously stated. It is K55. Cardboard box, variable speed, has the bell canopy and the pin type mounting system. I added that tassel pull chain, the paper tag. They used this into about November of 1980 when they started using the metal tags. There was two ways you could date your fan before these metal tags. So right here, on the top of the motor, there is a tag dating it to August of 1980. That's the date when it came off the assembly line. And the K55 and the motor itself is another way. It's less accurate, but it'll probably get you about the same year. This K55 was manufactured in about May of 1980. So just a few months before the fan was rolled off the assembly line. So let's turn it on to low. I have the cardboard box control rheostat set all the way down to its lowest speed setting. And this is how I received it. This is the stock, I'm assuming stock trim, but maybe someone could have adjusted it. I'm not entirely sure. So this fan was made during that time where Casablanca was transitioning from the Emerson K63 motor, which was a much more, it was a much older design. It had been in production since at least the 1960s, to the Emerson K55 motor, which is what is in this fan, which productions of that motor started around late 1979 into early 1980. And it was designed, at least this type of K55 was designed specifically for Casablanca ceiling fans. And then Emerson had theirs and their fans, and it was a little different than this one. They kind of became more similar as time went on. In about, I want to say 1987, 1988, they added vents to the bottom end bell of the motor, which I think was a very good choice, because this motor, the only ventilation it has really is the top, where the top end bell of the motor is the only thing that's really vented. Everything else is kind of sealed. So it doesn't have the greatest ventilation in the world, so they kind of fixed that as time went on. But it's still not a bad motor by any means. It was the industry standard for a long time, at least for American ceiling fans. A lot of companies copied this design. Let's turn it up a little bit. So I have to kind of awkwardly position myself to get to the... Let's turn it to about 4 o'clock. The 4 o'clock position. So yeah, this fan was made during that time. They started using the hang true canopy, which was seen all the way up to about 2013, and they started doing that around 1981. So it was a 30 years old? Yeah, about a 30-year-old design was employed throughout that span. So this fan, again, as I previously stated, came from the Fort Worth area in Texas. It was manufactured in Pasadena, California. And it's now up here. And I apologize if I sound kind of nasally. I'm kind of recovering from I don't even know what it was. It was a cold or something, but it's not really important. But I apologize if I don't sound the most pleasant. So I think this fan, so I got this fan and then I got another fan. I got a 1979 K63 Casablanca Victorian, which I'll make a video on here in a bit. I need to get a new capacitor for it. The current one works fine. It's just I don't trust these oil-filled capacitors as far as I can throw them. They always go out on me. At least when they're in Casablanca, like anything with a K63 motor. I've had Fascos with them. I've had Newtones with them, and they've been fine. It's just the Emerson K63 runs so hot, they always go bad. And I don't really hold that against them. They're over 40 years old. Stuff's going to fail after 40 years of prolonged use. So I don't really hold that against them. Turn it up a little bit more. Sorry, ceilings are very low down here. It's about the 7 o'clock position on the control. One of the blade irons is a little warped down. I don't know how well the camera can pick that up. But it does have a little bit of a warp, and it does add to a bit of wobble on the higher speeds, and also the mounting system kind of contributes to that. This mounting system is definitely not as, I don't want to say stable, but I can't think of another word. Like, it's not going to fall down, but it's just the hang true held the fan motor in a lot more, it held a lot more still. It kind of had it was more of a ball and socket design, so it kind of sat in there and didn't move around. Well, this one just hangs on like a sort of pin, and there's like it hangs on a pin and then like a little hex nut on like a little platform. It's kind of hard to explain. I think I have an example right here. Yeah, I do. So this is what the mounting system looks like. The motor hangs on that pin. It's a little annoying to install. You have to hold the motor up while you put the pin through. So it's kind of like, and then it just sits right there, and that's the only points the fan motor rests on. That's what's hanging up the entire fan, are those two little stages, I guess, if you want to call it. Turn it up a little bit more. It's a new noise. It's kind of making a little... That's a new noise. It's not making that before I started recording. That's super annoying. I guess this fan is a new noise now. That loud buzzing was not there before. I think maybe just the face... This faceplate is not original to the fan. You can tell it's a little different than the rest of the motor housing. The old faceplate was, first of all, it was missing its vent screen, and second of all, it was just so badly tarnished. It didn't even look like antique brass. It looked more like it was it was black or brown. It was just super tarnished, and it was not worth keeping on the fan. That's super annoying. I apologize for that, everybody. I'll turn this to high. There it goes. So, like any other stack motor ceiling fan, for the most part at least, it performs very well. It does wobble a bit. As I previously stated, one of the irons is a little bit out of clock. It's moving plenty of air. It has a little bit of a hum. It's kind of to be expected with any fan using this control system. It's moving a lot of air. Bearings are a little noisy. They were a lot worse when I first hung the fan. So let it run for a bit. Anytime I get a fan with bad bearings, I hang it with the blades attached and let it run for a bit to see if that helps. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And if they continue to make noise, I just replace them. But this is more of a cost-effective method. It's definitely not permanent by any means at all. I definitely should just replace the bearings if they're making noise, but I'm too lazy to do that. I'll just be honest. So yeah, it's a very good performer. I'm very impressed with this fan, but it's pretty par for the course for this kind of fan. Turn it off for you. Bring it to a stop. So yeah, that's honestly about it. This was a 1980 Casablanca Zephyr with a K55 motor. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.